I have the same question. No, Naysha was a little under the weather, so I'll be keeping her seat warm this week. Naysha, we love you, and can't wait to have you back next week.
Girl. Feel better.
Yes.
Welcome.
Welcome, everybody. Are you guys ready for a fun night? Absolutely. We have two lovely stars all the way from the UK. We're not going to make them wait any longer. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage first. Give it up for Choriza May.
Oh my God! Hello, everyone. How are we doing? Are we okay?
Yes.
That's what I like.
Hell yeah. And her season 3 sister. Give it up for Scarlett Harlett.
Hello, everyone. All right, gorgeous. I love your hair. Hello, babe. Enjoy your drink. Oh, my God, this is so exciting. I'm in Chicago, bitch! Oh, yay. Okay, should I leave a gap in between us?
Okay.
Sure, she
wait,
smells,
sure.
you know, dirty tights and all that.
I wasn't going to say it.
Don't
You did.
get me started.
Before we get started, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube page. Hit that little bell icon so you can get all of our video notifications, as well as we have merch available on Drag Queen Merch, Roscoe's.com, and above Batty's head, that link right over there.
Ding. Yes.
Well, welcome, divas. Y'all look lovely. Homer Simpson, right?
Yes. I'm actually Mo. Yes. Well, I'm coming here to the tavern. I might as well dress as Mo. I'm great. Well, we are so happy. We've been around Chicago today. We arrived yesterday, and we get to spend a couple more days here as well. So very excited to be here.
I've already tasted the delicacies of Chicago.
You went to Steamworks?
Is that a dark room or something?
No, that's the bathhouse.
Oh, okay. That's the same thing.
Yeah,
really,
same thing, kind of.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, it was great. Yeah. I'm pretty sure you were there, weren't you? No, I'm kidding.
Well,
I wish.
Well, are we ready? Should we just jump into this? Yeah. Have you guys been watching this season?
Yes,
No.
we have.
No, yes. Of course we have, yes.
I have.
Okay, all right. And we're going to apologize to all of our YouTube subscribers and everyone here for their closed captioning not happening tonight.
subtitles.
Well, I speak proper English. I can't speak for Choriza. I'm kidding.
Girl, shut up.
We invented the language. The language. All right, here we go. Take it away, Mikey.
All right, that's our first break there. Before we jump into the episode, let's touch back on a little bit last week. Dakota just got sent home. We're now down to our top 5. Did y'all have the pleasure of working with any of the girls on this season? And what did you think about Michelle judging last week?
You know what? I haven't worked with any of them. I've been to many of Cheddar's shows before I started doing drag, so it was really excited to see her there. And Michelle was just wonderful. I think it was a bit of fresh air, to be honest. I felt she was very heartfelt. She took it very to heart. I don't know. I would have loved to have her as a judge as well in our season.
Do y'all know why RuPaul wasn't there? Lawrence and Cheddar did not. They had no idea.
Yeah, they did.
What, did they?
What they
They didn't. Yeah, they didn't. You didn't hear it in the dressing room?
Oh, what did they say? Tell me what they said in the dressing room.
I don't know
Oh,
if I
yes. Never mind.
Yeah, I don't know if I can say
Oh,
it.
right, okay. I want to know now. But
Well, tell us later.
Yeah.
Well, I liked Michelle judging, to be honest
Sorry.
with you. I thought she was good.
Sorry, Naysha's not here, so it's not going to be real shady tonight.
I think I've worked with Danny. I've worked with Danny and I've worked with Cheddar as well. Danny kind of does what I do, which is like live singing and comedy. And also I've worked with Cheddar. Cheddar's great. If any of you guys were here last week, she's a lip syncer. She's fabulous. I don't know if I've worked with any of the rest of them, but I
They're all really new.
Yeah, I was rooting for Dakota last week though. That I thought she looked good. I don't know what Jumpers is on about. I think that she was more polished, if I'm honest. And they were giving
The audience was in agreement.
Yeah.
as well.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
there we go. So it's not just me. So Jumpers, don't come for me because I said you weren't polished, darling. The audience agreed.
Does it not
Wait.
seem like Jompers is getting the Cheryl Hole edit for this?
What?
Or the Scarlett Harlett as well.
Right. I don't feel like talking right now. Thanks. No, she's obviously wearing Jinx Monsoon's perfume, Delusion.
It's gonna be a good night. Yay.
Oh.
I'm just kidding.
She's just mad because she doesn't follow her on Instagram.
Does she follow you?
No! So you're gonna
you.
get some shit tonight, but no, just kidding.
She's doing it to herself. Have you watched the first half?
She has gotten better though throughout the season.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like
Which
they
is-
said, her makeup improved last week.
Yeah,
didn't it?
for sure, absolutely. We've seen that a lot with many girls. You know, they get on there and then a couple weeks they kind of see they're like, oh shit,
Yeah.
and then things kind of change. So, but yeah. So now we're moving into this main challenge, and this is going to be something.
Yeah. Squirrel games.
Squirrel games.
A murder
An
mystery.
acting challenge.
I'm not sure I can pronounce the name of the challenge, so let's alone be on it.
Let's try it.
Squirrel friends! Perfect.
That was it.
You're welcome. That's an English lesson for all of you. Hope you learned a lot.
Well, we saw this week that they actually went through and read through the whole script. In the previous challenge, that was the group. They did not. They just kind of like gave out the roles. So tell us about your acting challenges. What was the hardest part of it?
We weren't there. Well, did you do it?
Did you get to?
I got cut just before the acting challenge, which
Well, just kidding. Then don't tell us that.
after having watched it, I'm kind of glad I did. No, I'm kidding. No, I think the acting challenges are always quite difficult because I feel like they've done so many on the American version, the British version, that it almost becomes like a parody of a parody of a parody of a parody. So I'm just hoping that this one might be good because I feel like they've done it. They've done so many action challenges now, but you know, Danny's a very good actor, I know that much, and Jombas has really proved her kind of performance skills over the last couple of weeks, playing that bird and whatnot. So yeah, I think that they're going to do good, I hope, touch wood.
Do you agree with the rest of the competitors that Peppa may not rise to the occasion? Because as we've seen in the season before, when it comes to scripted things, she does tend to be middle of the pack or lower.
Well, I think it gets harder and harder as well to do good because there's less girls in the room.
Oh, yeah, the
so
stats are
if
there.
if anything, if you fuck up, it's gonna show a lot more. So if I was Pep, I would be a little bit worried as well. So far, great fashions.
Can we quickly address the idea that Cheddar called Jombas the most fashion person in the room? Black Pepper is clearly the most fashion-y person in the room. Can we just agree on that? Thank you very much.
Maybe Cheddar was just trying to calm Jombers down because clearly they felt attacked by any time someone mentioned Dakota. They said, should it be me? Should it be me? I'm just like, okay, chill out. Yes, it should have been you, but you're still here.
Yeah. And she even said it though too. She's like, I'm finally, feel like I'm here. I feel like I deserve a badge, but she doesn't have one. So maybe this will be she's going to play two characters. Maybe she'll get a badge this round.
Or look at the writing on the wall.
Or she's on the bus.
On the bus.
On the
I love
bus.
that. Sorry, I've dropped one of my stones. I'm not trying to give everyone a show.
It's right here.
It's here, bitch.
No, there's two. I've dropped 2 stones, but never mind. All right. Well, I'll leave a part of me in Chicago. Here
Thank
we
you
go.
so much. That is so considerate. And if you want to see them a little bit later, they will both be performing at 10:30 with Batty and myself, so stick around for that.
Absolutely. On that note, shall we jump back in? Let's see how this challenge is going to play out.
Let's jump.
Let's do it.
What?
That happened.
What?
I feel much better about my performance on that show now. I'm kidding.
It was giving almost the season 7 acting challenge, like the cringe
Yeah.
level of that. That was...
Yeah. The problem is, all right, to play devil's advocate, I will give them their props because... Excuse me, I just choked on my own spit there. They basically give you no time. So when you get the challenge and you have to learn the script, basically within like the next hour or two, you're in there. So you don't even know what you're saying. Like, I know I didn't do an acting challenge, but when we did like the Dragaton
Dragalexa.
thing and the Dragalexa,
Dragalexa,
yeah. You literally are blindsided. So, and I think that they want that a bit because it stirs up. It's got us all going, ooh, child, But I think that, they could have been a bit more prepared. I mean,
No, that's a good point. Now that you say that, Danny did say they only had 2 hours. So while getting into makeup, they're trying to rehearse their lines. All the production shit's happening behind the scenes. So no, that is a lot. And honestly, it seems like Danny, Cheddar, and Pixie all have like a good theater background. So I think they just showed the worst parts of Pixie. But Yeah, I know, 2 hours, that's a lot to try to do or try to remember, so props to them.
And while you're putting your makeup on as well, you're like trying to learn the line. It's terrible. You know, what did Ben de la Creme say? You know, they say, oh, tell us about when your mum died. You know, it's like that, isn't it? They did that to me, so I can say that. You know, it's
Your mum's not dead.
Well, she's got COPD, so
Okay.
nearly.
Oh no.
Oh, God. You gotta laugh. If you don't laugh, you cry. You know what I mean,
Take
sweetheart?
the piss out of it. Well, who do y'all think did the best from what you saw just then?
I think that was just a whole jumble.
Yeah.
They edited that was
The
like
dog, the
I don't think
puppet.
they showed us enough.
Danny was funny, but maybe not intentionally. I don't know.
Danny was like the only compliment she really gave her, the positive critique, honestly. So, do you think they'll put the blame on the competitors for not pulling through in 2 hours, or Cheddar for the assignment of the roles?
I think the queens will put the blame on Cheddar. I think the judges will blame them all for not being prepared enough, although they didn't have enough time. So, don't know.
Yeah, I don't think they'll put the blame on Cheddar because Cheddar seems, I think, through her whole time on this season so far, very seasoned professional. She knows what she's doing. So for her to even struggle in this, I think it just shows the lack of time that they had, really. You know what I mean?
That's fair. Patricia?
No, I'm just thinking, it really, like, because you have to put your makeup on too. Some girls struggle. Like, if we go back to, like, Kimora Hall even, like, she's beautiful, hands down, but it's a masterpiece. And some girls like to take their time to do their makeup. And so I understand, like, the evolution of the makeup happening, but then trying to get the story and then learn all these words. Like, yeah, it's definitely a process that you really have to be prepared for going into this.
Ooh, to piggyback, question for you two. How long would you say someone should have their face down to science if you're going to apply for Drag Race? How quickly does it all need to go on?
I think at least you should be able to do it in 45 minutes. Yeah.
Just face or like head to toe?
Just face.
Just face.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to be fully ready by, I'd say, about an hour and 15 minutes. Like, head to toe ready. To the point where they'll be like, hurry up. I remember Veronica Green. She is, I don't know if anyone said this. She's notoriously late every single time. So Wendy, who you saw last week, who looked after us, she would like see Veronica would be in the corner, you know, just putting on one eye while the rest of us are ready. And she'd go, Veronica, seriously, can you go? RuPaul's waiting, please. And literally, she's like just taking her sweet ass time in the corner. I love Veronica.
Which was great to have her in the season because we all could take the time as well because we knew Veronica
We're like,
was going to be last.
That was so
Like, they're
cute.
going to be waiting for her, so
us another
I can
second.
take my fucking time. Another stone, bitch.
I know, sorry about that.
We don't have insurance for this, okay? So if
What kind of cheap ass stone is this, my lord?
She is bleeding. That hit her in the
Thank
face.
you, my love. I
Apologies.
know, right? I'm sorry. where
As
there's
you
a
just
blame,
heard,
there's a
there's no
blame.
insurance.
Yeah, I'm not paying for this.
So neither of you got to do the acting challenge. What was the hardest challenge on Drag Race while you guys were competing?
Drag Lexa. Because not only we had to act, we had to write the fucking script. And we had no time. By the time we finished, they were like, yeah, this is it. And I was like, this is fucking garbage. I spent my chat with RuPaul talking about my penis.
You sure did.
Yeah.
You sure did.
Where's the feedback on the script, mama? There was no. Drag Lexa, fuck my life. Thank God to this challenge. Hopefully it be worse and people will forget about it.
Does it also not seem a little late to have an acting challenge?
Yeah,
Last season was the same, actually.
Yeah, they do it every time. They seem to. Well, they did it. I was in the top 5 last time, and they waited until the top 4 to do
It
the
was
acting
top 4
challenge.
last year. Yeah.
So they've brought it forward one episode actually. But I don't know what you're talking about. I love Drag Lexa. That was my favorite episode.
You know what was the best thing? We watched we are watching this right now. We watched the adverts while we were all on the main stage. We were loving it. We were pissing ourselves. Kitty was cackling at the fucking adverts. The advert finishes, RuPaul is like this. And Kitty's like, and I was like, girl,
Literally,
no.
RuPaul looked
It's
like
not
he was
going
gonna
down
get a
well.
shotgun and just be like, but it was frightening, wasn't it? And then, of course, everyone said that I should go home. So there you go.
And you didn't, so.
Yeah. So we heard the hardest. What do you feel seeing yourself after being off of the show and, having time to tour and whatnot. What has been like the funnest and easiest thing of Drag Race for you?
The funnest has been definitely to travel. It's mental that we go from 0 to 100 after the show. Like, we've been lucky that we managed to tour a lot. And in the UK right now, there's loads of tours. There's pantomime, there's theater, drag is in the West End. So it's loads of fun, actually, to go around in a more relaxed environment and actually get to know each other. Because on the season, we didn't get to know each other at all. We only got to know each other when we tour. We learn if we love or hate each other, or both at the same time. No, and that's been the... Shut up, we loved it.
She's my sister.
So that's been the most fun, definitely. What for you?
Well, everything you just said, but also I love knowing that now that when I watch Drag Race, it's like being in the Wizard of Oz and pulling back the curtain and seeing the old man, and it's like, I don't mean that.
What did you call RuPaul?
I was gonna say, oh girl.
Did you call RuPaul an old man?
Right, hold on. They say that every season about the old joke, so it's fine. But no, it's like when you know the ins and outs of it, it's interesting to watch it, because in my mind I'm like, well, I know why they did that, or I know why they did that. So it makes it more interesting to watch, because you've peeked behind the curtain a little bit. And I mean, other than that, like you said, the traveling part, being here, I watch this channel, so I feel so honestly privileged to be here. I'm really, really grateful, and fuck yeah, I'm in Chicago, bitch. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's great. It's mental.
I love it. Well, knowing that you now know the format of the show, would we go back and do a round 2?
You know what? Yes, I would. We filmed our season a year and a half ago, so I think you can't wait these days a lot. It's not like 5 years ago people could say, I'll do another All-Stars, but now if they ask you to say no, another 20 seasons are going to happen in between before you get to do another one. So I think take it while it's there, because there's a lot of Drag Race at the moment. But yeah, and to be honest, I had lots of fun filming. You saw me crying on every fucking episode, but I promise you I was loving it. Also swallowing my own spit, sorry. It's a European thing we do.
And how about you? Would you do it again?
I absolutely would. I would do it because the thing that I enjoyed about it was getting to bond with Ru. I know that sounds really kind of cheesy, but I felt like I did have a connection with him, and that part of it was fun. The problem was the pressure of feeling like you had to you feel like you have to do the most, because you always feel like if you don't do the most, then you're gonna look boring or fade into the background, and obviously you don't want to do that. So I would go into there now and be like, you know what, I can just literally have fun and be me. And look at someone like Dakota, for example. Dakota isn't the wildest personality that's ever existed, but she's extremely lovable on that show and endearing, right? And they can be harmonious, and so I would just go back there and be like, bitch, calm down, you're doing the most, and just have fun, don't get so stressed out, and if everyone says to go home, then fuck them.
And I think, to piggyback off that, I think it's very safe to say that every guest that we have here, if they go back with that same mental state that you had just spoke, so I think that's fabulous. All right, should we jump back in? All righty.
All right. That was the trauma bonding before the runway, after the challenge, as expected every episode. As we're aware, 34 seasons in, we know the isolation and the seclusion is very real. On a premiere season, All-Stars are a little more lenient. But for y'all, how important were the relationships with the family that raised you, or your chosen family, when you got back?
Do you want to go first, or should I? Okay. So what was the question? Sorry, babe.
How important were the family relationships for you when you went on and then when you got back?
Oh, yeah. So, well, I spoke on my time on the show about my relationship with my mum, so that was something that I really was happy that they highlighted. By the way, I'm not crying. I've got a really itchy contact lens, so I'm just going to do that. But, yeah, that was something that I got to speak about, and that was really, really important for me, getting to talk about my story and, blah, blah, blah. And it was nice to have a queer family in terms of drag queens, because in drag, it's almost drag in the UK is a bit different from America, I would say, in the sense that we don't really do like cast drag shows. So we would basically work solo a lot of the time, and so you don't really get to bond with other drag queens, which is really quite sad sometimes, you know. So walking into Drag Race, this was my first opportunity to be able to hopefully try and form friendships with other queens. Even cut to everyone sending me home, and also the problem is as well that they don't really let you get to speak to the other queens because, you know, you're there to film a TV show, you know, so you're not there to be like, how are you? Unfortunately, I still don't ask her that now, but yeah, that's one of the most important parts, getting to meet the girls afterwards and have a real drag family, because I never got that before.
Choriza, how about for you?
Are we talking drag families?
We can talk
just
all of them,
yeah.
families in general.
Well, for me, moving to the UK, it was a bit hard because I moved because my boyfriend lived there. And for the longest time, I struggled to find who my group was. I had some friends at work, at the design studio I used to be. I had some friends at the gym, but nothing really felt quite right. Yeah, back then I was thin. Fucking Drag Race. Now I have money to eat. That's what happens. I miss being poor. Illegal immigration did me good, girl. I'm kidding. I was legal. Still am. Am I? Don't laugh at immigrants. Is that what you do in America? Love it. I'll stay here. Anyway. I lost the plot. What I was saying. Family, yeah. So moving to the UK, basically, I didn't have friends. So eventually, when I started doing drag, I was like, these are my people. I remember going to a drag cabaret and seeing all the amazing performers and be like, that's them. Those are going to be my friends. And to this day, they are my drag family. So it's just crazy how the community really adopted me and were like, let's take this little Spanish guy and make it a fabulous drag queen. And that's what happened. So it's very important for me. And right now, for me, the cool thing now is most of them are designers, illustrators, they are artists. So now that I have a little bit more money, I can book them all to do my costumes, to do my visuals for my numbers, to do all this. And it's my way of paying back in a way that support that they gave me. So yeah, it's been lovely.
I love that.
Yeah, it's very, very, very nice.
And Batty, how about for you, Diva? Was your chosen family or the family that raised you supportive in your drag career?
So I turned it off on accident. Yeah, my mom is very supportive. I come from a very broken home. It's just me and her. And I came out at 14, and I was like, Mom, I'm gay. And she's like, I know. Duh. And then she told me all about, like, her gay experiences in Arkansas with her friends. And not necessarily like her being a lesbian, but I mean, she dabbled, and she's like, you know, I found my person, I found who I am, and you know, anyway, my mom's not a lesbian, but anyway, but yeah, she accepted me very much so that it put me like in perspective that when I did join the real world at 18, and went to the gay bar and saw two drag queens, I didn't know that they were drag queens because I'd never seen them before, and the only drag queen that I've ever seen was RuPaul, and she was on TV on MTV hosting the fucking Spring Break show. I mean, I'd never seen that before, and then I seen them, and then they were my chosen family. So it kind of all just goes like in kind of the same thing. How about for you?
Yeah,
because you've been around.
I don't say it like that.
Well, I mean, no. I mean, like, but we've spoken. You've moved growing up and whatnot. So
yeah. I started drag in South Mississippi, came out in South Mississippi. It was very much like everyone was okay with it, but don't like talk about it, don't bring it up in conversation type thing. So I was always the gay black friend who got invited to stuff. But when I did drag, my parents did have questions about identity and what it meant for me. And I was just like, I'm really good at dancing in heels and a wig. And you're going to see that. And maybe like a year and a half in, he came to one of my first show. His first show was a year and a half in drag for me, and he cried at the end of it. It was it felt very sweet. I didn't think he'd ever get to that point where he'd support me, but it felt awesome, and he supports me now to this day.
That's fantastic.
Round
And
of
I think it
applause,
shows
everyone.
like
That's
this
lovely.
that give visibility to, to understand that we're not freaks, we're not creeps, we're just literally entertainers trying to live our dreams. So thank you, RuPaul. Yeah.
Yeah, we just had our own lovely little trauma moment there, didn't
Yeah.
we? I
Aw.
love it. Snaps for us.
Thank you, Mama Ru.
Yes, no dead family members, no dead pets. Let's get back into
Let's get back
Drag
into
Race.
it.
All
Whoa.
right. Challenge on runway down. What do you want to start with first? The runway, since we saw it
Let's
first?
start with the runway, yeah.
Okay, Danny Beards opened us up. Sickening silhouette. Loved it. Thoughts?
I think she went in the competition knowing they were gonna tell her, we want to see variety from you, because she has a very strong look, and it just came at a really good point. I think it really, I think she's gonna make it all the way, but I think this week really proved it, because in a challenge where everyone was okay, she was hysterical, and her look just was the cherry on top. I loved it.
I agree. I think that she played the character really well. She was playing a woman. They were all playing a version of a British kind of reality TV person, and she was playing a host called Davina McCall, and she did it fabulously, I think. And I also think that she referenced on the runway. She was like, "I'm a Scouse woman going to the races," which is like a horse race
Kentucky
thing that they
Derby.
do, like a posh thing. And but I noticed that the Vivian did that on the season 1, and she also had a big open
She did.
thing, didn't she? And she actually lip synced that episode, but she looked gorgeous.
The
And I think-
races was a category challenge on season 1.
yeah, that was it. Yeah, so and they had a similar look, but I think that Danny executed it way better, and I think she was good in the challenge. She was probably one of the best ones, I would say.
Agreed.
Same.
All right, moving on to Jombers. Okay, not to take away from the moment they had with RuPaul, and I think when walking the runway, what stands out is if it doesn't reference or look like anything we've seen before. For me, as soon as I saw Jombers, it was giving Aquaria on season 10. She had a white outfit, very similar, just without the train, and a pink purple feather. I got that reference.
yeah.
Yeah, well, not only that, there's an outfit, a horror award that I feel is quite similar as well.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but no, yeah, that's right, and I love that look from Aquaria. It was inspired by an illustration that a friend of mine I did. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of Drag Race,
Right.
But she did look gorgeous. Yes, she looked gorgeous. One of the best looks on Drag Race, apparently.
Wait, did he actually say that?
Yes, she said it.
Yeah.
Oh my God! What? I didn't hear that.
Where were you? Which
I
part were
was
you
I
stuck in?
was trying to find out what he was talking about because I wasn't seeing. No, I'm kidding. No, I will say that was a gorgeous outfit. I absolutely would wear the living shit out of that outfit. But it looks very similar to what Ahura wore at the finale of season 2.
As well as that.
Okay, they looked almost identical, I think, and I think Ahura's was great. I'll just leave it.
Do you
Okay.
think perhaps it could be the same like designer situation there? Maybe or no?
Could be, yeah, because there's not so many. It's common for girls to pull from the same designers, but if I was that designer and I knew that she was going on
Right.
Drag Race, you'd be like, I'm not making you the same outfit that I made for Ahura. You know
Well,
what I mean?
unless you want to be shady and just take the fucking coins, bitch.
That's true.
Like, girl, do your thing.
Yeah.
I thought it was beautiful. It fit the actual frame for the first time. Like when she came out, she filled up all the space. It was very ethereal. It was gorgeous.
Agreed. Next up, we had Cheddar Gorgeous in their petunia ruffle look.
That was gorgeous. I was, you know what? I always, when I went into Drag Race, I felt very self-conscious that all my looks had to have the very hourglass silhouette, and I was very scared to do something like that. But I love that she did it, and it was really flattering. And I believe Licorice, which is her drag sister, made it. So that's props to her. Yeah.
Well, she comes from like an absolutely amazingly creative drag family. Like they are insane. Like they are just creative. Like just queens.
If they believe something, they're going to make it happen.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly. And they actually have their own studio that I'd visited where they've got like racks and racks of drag costumes that they can just mix and match and create. And so Cheddar is just an absolute creative powerhouse. And I think that she showed that tonight. She's not afraid to change the silhouette, which I really enjoy because that, like I said, that is, like you said, sorry, that's something I was afraid of. because as a drag queen, before you do this show, you almost you do what you know you do well and stick to it, right? But you know that they're going to say well, it's the same silhouette, it's the same this, it's the same that. So you do want to try something different, but the good thing about her is she just knows how to execute everything she does, doesn't she?
The execution's always flawless.
Her edit is perfect, and every week when she wears something, there's a story that goes with it.
Yes.
So I think that that just kind of hones it in a little more. And I find it very interesting because everybody got the same narrative, but yet she still is able to pull something out of it and make it like an aha moment. Yeah, She
loves to use her drag for a message, I would say.
Absolutely.
Because it was that silence equals death look. Iconic. Absolutely stunning. And then with this one, she was talking about planting poppies for homophobic abuse. So that was also she loves to use a message in order to deliver her drag. Which
she also said that in the dressing room. Yeah, she wants a story every time she does a performance. So I see that.
Camp.
Coming up next, we had Black Peppa in their denim and the green sequin boots everyone has. Do y'all think it was one of the best looks that's going to go down in Drag Race history?
I almost ordered those boots today. I promise you I almost ordered those boots. I'm glad I didn't.
But no, I'm glad she got the sequin to match the underneath all the denim little cutouts. The outfit I thought was great, but it wasn't wow.
It was the face kini for me. It looked like it was a pair of pants, like sequin pants. I don't understand what's going on in the back. So it looked like maybe the legs were here, and right here was I was just slightly. I mean, it was giving a look, but I think if it was edited a little more with it just without the back, I think it would be very cohesive and maybe portray what Ru was saying.
I think the problem with that sequin part is that's the most drag queen fabric you could ever get. And I think that if you're going to go on Drag Race, I think that wearing that kind of fabric, the green reflective one, is difficult because you're going to ask for people to kind of read you a little bit for it. But I think she made up for it with the rest. That silhouette with the waist and that was great. It was just, what was all this stuff in the back?
Yeah, I didn't understand
what was all that.
That was the only part that really made it not work
I didn't
for
know
me.
what that was about.
Was it hair? Was it ruffles?
I'm not sure.
I think it again comes, I think, from the fear is the look not going to be enough? Let me add a lot, because that's a real fear. Because I feel that the dress and the hat were just gorgeous.
Yeah.
And it was so creative to do it with the denim. It was by a designer from Italy, by the way, called Gianneschi. He's great with ruffles. So she knew, she does the gloves. In fact, Scarlett got her dress made by the same guy as well. I saw it on Instagram. I feel like sometimes you just fear is not going to be enough, and I think you have to relax because the outfit was gorgeous. Yeah. RuPaul was feeling very nice today. She gave all of them good feedback.
She really did something last week. She really took the time off.
She had another coffee enema, apparently, I'm
something, bitch.
And then closing out the runway, we had Pixie Polite as Queen Elizabeth.
Yes. Do you want to go first? You've done that look before on Drag Race?
Yeah, I did Queen Elizabeth I on Drag Race, on the first episode. I will admit, actually, it was not as... there wasn't as many accoutrements, as you say, as Pixie had. I thought that her hair was better than what I did and all of that. I didn't understand the hair bubbles that she had around her legs. It looked like she just put a scrunchie around there. Didn't it? Other than that, I was like, okay. It was not from here up, fabulous. Here down, it looked like she'd raided a Primark.
Yeah, I feel like she needed a little more ruffle on the bottom of it to make it a little more.
It was a ruffle challenge.
Yeah, a ruffle challenge. But also, I mean, Cheddar's Queen Elizabeth during the Snatch Game was just, the look was there. So, I wonder truly what Pixie was feeling like when she put that on. Like, shit, I already brought this and somebody just wore something like this.
How Olivia felt when she put on that ponytail wig that Candy had.
Yeah,
that's the problem. There's nothing you can do when that's the category and you have nothing else. See, I did that when we did the fruit look. I remember thinking my original outfit was so basic. I was like, I cannot wear this. It's so basic. So I put on that big lettuce green thing.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
The walking gonorrhea.
How to forget it?
And I got read to filth, didn't I? Because I was, it was too much. It wasn't very pretty. But that's what runs through your head. You're like, oh no, it's going to be really basic, and so you try to push it over the top, and then even that looks crap apparently. So you just try your best, I suppose.
I really liked Pixies. I felt like, I don't know, it's again hard to really think how it's gonna play out, but I felt it was just the right amount of ruffles, because she could have gone easily very big with a massive skirt, and I think that would have been a little bit predictable. I think she tried to do something a little bit different, and her makeup was flawless. I don't know. I felt it was great for me.
I agree.
Also, Roscoe's, give it up for Choriza being one of the first Drag Race contestants to come back and judge episode in the franchise.
Oh my God, yes.
You and Alexis Mateo were the first two divas to do that.
Yeah.
Listening to your critique, I was like, she's behind the desk right now looking at all these divas. How did it feel going back and judging?
It was incredible. You know what? I've been judging people all my life. It was about time. It was about time.
They pay you for it.
Exactly. I got money for it. It was fucking great. You know what? They asked me to go before our season aired. Our Meet the Queens was out, and they messaged me. Well, no, actually, they called me. It was the same guy that called me to apply for season 1 of Drag Race España. And I was like, this bitch is not calling me to apply for season 3 or 2 or something. So, yeah, it was fucking great. It was amazing, to be honest. I arrived to Madrid, and I just couldn't believe it. It was like, until I get there, I'm not going to believe this is happening. And they treated me like a queen. They even gave me a little tiara crown and everything. Yeah. And I will tell you this. Has anyone here watched Drag Race España? Fucking sickening. You have to learn some Spanish and go watch it. And even if you don't learn Spanish, you have to watch it, because the creativity that these girls have is just beyond. Like, Spain is such a small drag scene. Like, it's beautiful how the whole community is coming together. Queens helping queens. Like, it's very, very lovely. And the judging is very fair. I was lucky to be back there, and the way the guests, well, all the judges, Supreme and everyone just discusses about everything, they are so caring and they are so fair. Like, I left very happy.
So are you saying
this is
UK and US is not?
No, don't put words in my mouth.
We'll read between the lines. That's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, I don't know. I was only there for one day, but it just felt very genuine. You know what I mean?
Well, genuinely, how did y'all feel about the challenge after seeing it? Watching it back, I felt better, about it, honestly.
No.
Speak on it.
No, I mean, like you said, Scarlett, like, they take it and it's the same challenge over and over and over. There's got to be someone in this audience, someone watching that knows what the hell they're doing, that can be a part of this team so it's not so cringy. I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, it wasn't terrible. There's been worse, but I mean, it shouldn't be like this.
There were parts of it I was like, whoever wrote this is on crack. You know what I mean? But, like, other than that, I mean, again, it's hard and they had no time, blah, blah, blah. But, yeah, we've seen worse. We've seen worse.
Did it give you, like, those were the top 2 ideas on the table, and then they're just like, combined them, let's do that?
No, like, which one do we choose? No, I think it was good. It was good. I don't want to seem like a hateful bitch on here, but it was very, very good, and I congratulate them all on how hard it is to do it. But yeah, I think that bringing in a couple extra people into the writing team never hurts.
Yeah, no.
At all.
Roscoe, how did you guys feel about the challenge? Yay or nay? Okay, so yeah, I mean,
lukewarm.
Who do we think?
He's offended. He's like, no. No.
Who do we think has
didn't
a
like
chance
it, sir?
being first place or taking the top spot today?
I didn't even think about that. People win challenges.
I think it's going to be Danny.
I think Danny Beard.
I think it'll be Danny. They really praised the look. Cheddar was great. Cheddar won last week. I don't know. We'll see. I think it's going to be Danny this week.
I think they showed us in the challenge. I felt Danny's role had a lot more airtime, so it's easier to either fuck it up or stand out. And I think she stood out. So for me, it was Danny.
I agree. I think Danny and Cheddar right now are both they both got the most badges, and they're both kind of the front runners here. So, and they're not going to keep giving it to Cheddar, because then it becomes a bit predictable, I think.
Blowout, yeah.
But she was very good. But yeah, I think Danny. Although I will give props to Pixie. I think Pixie's depiction of Kim Woodburn, her accent and all of that
She was fucking brilliant.
She was good. I almost feel like they were grasping at straws to kind of give her negative critiques there. because she wasn't as terrible as I think that they were making her out to be. You
No,
know?
and I think that, like, thank you for saying that, because I don't think a lot of us here know who that character is she was playing. Do we know?
I didn't.
Yeah, okay, so you know everything, Steph. Thank you. We know this. So knowing that she is someone that is very well known.
And she
like
did
that.
very well. She did a great impersonation. She was actually quite good. I think even Rue said it. So I don't understand why they ended up giving her bad critiques. I do feel like she's going to be in the bottom this week.
Okay, so who else do we think is going to be in the bottom?
Well, an observation.
Black pepper.
The way they spoke about Jomber's and Jomber and Peppa's look, I feel like a look may save someone from being in the bottom tonight.
If Jombers is not in the bottom tonight with that dog Pugsy. And she said Pugsy, they put it in the actual
Shady.
edit. So that's where you know that bitch said it too many times. Right?
They kept it in the
In
scene.
the final, yeah.
Oh dear.
Because they give you chances. When they want you in a good light, they ask you to do it again.
Okay.
So if that was shown, fucking hell, she
Yeah.
said pugly a lot.
If they showed that, then they really... She must have said that constantly, because if they want a good shot, they'll get a good shot. So she must have really been fucking up badly. Bless her.
So with that happening, are we also in agreement that Peppa may be joining Jombers in the bottom?
Yes.
Either
I think-
Pepper or Pixie.
Yeah, I think it might be Pixie because last week I don't think she deserved to be in the bottom and they placed her in the bottom. So and they were a bit hesitant to give her good critiques. So I think it might be her and Peppa. We'll see. I don't know.
All right, shall we see, audience?
Before we do, get your questions ready. We will be walking around here in just a little bit. Any questions you have for Scarlett or Choriza, Batty and I will be around. And we have a couple shout-outs as well.
Oh, yeah, let's say hi to some kids.
Hey! This week, we're going to say hey to Sam Ferreira in Australia.
Hello to Matt in Amsterdam.
Robert in Poland. Hey.
F.J. Roberts in Louisiana.
Sanjeev in Malay. Hey, babe.
And Nick in London. Keep
you.
letting us know where you guys are watching from. Hit that
That's hella-
subscribe button. And thank you for following, liking, and subscribing and all that jazz. Yeah.
Well, let's see who's in the top and who's in the bottom.
You're a bottom.
And, hell yeah, Roscoe's, give it up for tonight's winner, Cheddar Gorgeous.
Come on, Cheds.
All 5 are still in the game.
Girl, why?
I also have the same question.
She couldn't send her home after saying you look the best ever.
Yeah, I know.
And then,
it's true.
yeah.
Yeah, but I don't understand why they gave Pixie negative critiques then to only call her safe. I thought that was, they like to do that, right? They like to kind of set up the storyline to make it make sense. And because I thought she did a good job, so why did they give her bad critiques? But that being said, I don't know what else to say. That was, it was interesting.
Not a double save. I really can't take that. I think that there should have been a double save prior to this.
Yeah, I agree.
Season 3 with Choriza.
yeah, we can go back there.
I just realized something. In my season, there was a double save, which was you,
Yep.
and a double elimination. Fuck you, bitch.
Yeah, but I can fully admit, I should not have stayed that episode. I agree. Because Charity beat me in the lip sync. But they decide what they want to decide. And that's what it is. And it worked for me in my favour. So I bet Jombers is elated right now. She's up having a drink. So I would be too.
No,
Yeah.
you didn't deserve to stay. That was a double one. But yeah, I agree. There was such a good lip sync last week. It's like these opportunities are being missed when people want them. They like to play with the audience a little bit. So yeah, shocking. But
Yeah.
that's that race, everyone. Fucking hell.
Well, now with that happening, I feel like it's a race for Peppa, Pixie, and Jombers to make it to that final spot. Because I feel like Danny and Cheddar have definitely locked theirs in.
Cheddar
100%.
has won 3 challenges in a row. And 4 batches total. That is wild.
Well, next
Has
week...
anybody done that in the badge system?
I think Sharon Needles won 3 in a row.
No,
once.
in the badges.
Oh, I don't know.
Over there with you guys.
No, 3 in a row, no. 4, yes. Ella Day had 4. And Bimini had 4
But
batches.
I think she got 2, gap 1.
Yeah,
didn't she,
yeah.
or something like that?
But 3 in a row, I don't think that's ever happened before.
No, I don't think that's a. I'm kind of shocked.
Ella Day, she was another gal on your season who got better as the weeks went with her makeup and whatnot, like we were talking about earlier. I live for her. Okay, all right.
But I was going to say next week, our special guest, we have the crowned queen of season 10, Aquaria, is here. Make some noise.
Icon.
As well as the winner of UK versus the World, Blue Hydrangea.
Blue's coming back.
So the tickets are on sale now. The link is live. The live is linked.
The link is live.
On the Roscoe's Instagram page. Hit that up. But, yeah, was a great episode. I was not expecting all 5. I thought we were going to get to the finale next week. But a roast is a great way just to, like, top off the season.
That's what I was going to say. I think that they probably wanted all 5 in the roast to make it a good roast, to have, like, more queens there to roast each other. I think potentially that double save could have played into them wanting more queens in the roast.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Do we think Black Peppa's going to be able to roast next week? Because she's been very shy and, like, you know, kind of closed in.
Honestly, no, I don't. She said she doesn't do comedy. And I feel like there has to be, you have to understand the structure of setting up a joke.
Absolutely.
To, like, kill it in the roast.
There has not been a lot of very dancey challenges.
No.
Which must be frustrating for someone like Black Peppa, who is such an incredible dancer and performer. Because everything seems to be very comedy-based. Which, for me, great. Don't put me to dance, because fucking hell. But, yeah, it must be frustrating for her to be like, not another comedy challenge.
Well, Black Peppa's giving very, like, Roxy Andrews in season 5, right? She's like, another comedy challenge. Oh, what was your favourite moment? Seeing you in the bottom too? I love that. But, yeah, I mean, I would be frustrated if I was Black Peppa, because I remember when we had the dance challenge, I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, here we go. But, I mean, and I never got any acting challenges, which is what I wanted. So it's just the way the cookie crumbles, I suppose, isn't it?
Do you feel like this season was kind of, we talked about the touch base about this earlier, it's kind of tailored to the queens that they had brought in, because they brought such a wide range of queens, starting from, you know, never performing on stage to being, you know, veterans for many years. Do you think that that has something to play in with, like, how the challenges have played out, but also with you guys being from the UK, you guys are comedy queens, and you also, you know, you sing live, you know, your cabarets and all that. There's not so much dancing.
I think it is a bit reflective of the drag scene.
Yeah.
There is incredible drag dancers, but I think the origin of drag in the UK, it's based on comedy, hosting, and cabaret, and that's reflected on it, because we have all these musicals, we have everything. But being said that, on our season, most of the girls are what we call Western Wendy's.
Western Wendy.
They all had, like, dancing, acting, like musical, and we did not have a musical or a storyline that went down that. So they do whatever the fuck they want. It's weird.
You know what? I honestly think that they probably looked at our season and realised that
it was shit.
It wasn't.
They picked challenges that didn't make sense for the kind of queens that they'd cast on the show, I think that's a fair statement to say. And, like, for example, a dance challenge would have been great for someone like Black Peppa. You know, Baby's a fabulous dancer, you know, like, and she was always asking for a dance challenge. So I think that that would have been better. But for our season, we got, like, you know, the challenges didn't match the kind of queens that they'd cast. So I think that they were trying to repair that a little bit with season 4 by going down the comedy route and having people like Danny, and Pixie's quite funny as well. Or she's very funny. And lots of other comedy queens, you know.
Yeah, it's great. And Danny's been on TV. Like, that's what, like, it's so crazy to me, is that the top 2 that we think are going to end up being in this, they've already been on television and they've been in the media. They kind of know how the scene works, as opposed to somebody coming in for the first time from Drag Race and not knowing, and now you guys being there and going back, learning, you're ready for that full experience. Fair.
I bet that helps, actually. I'm sure it does help, actually, that having done the TV thing before, to be able to do this. It is a different ball game, because this is, like, very reality TV. But, I mean, they'd both done... Well, actually, Danny Beard did Britain's Got Talent, which is extreme reality TV. So I'm sure that would have helped her and you know...
Oh, yeah, taking down the uncomfortability of having the camera right there. She knew immediately to turn it off and interact with everyone.
Yeah. All right. Well, did we enjoy tonight?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to take a photo real quick before we jump out into the audience to grab some questions from you guys. We're going to look right here at Sean.
welcome.
Work. I love it. Thank you,
All right.
guys.
Does anybody have any questions to start?
Not all at once.
Okay, we'll start with the lovely stuff right here in the front. Hey, girl.
Hi. So my question is mainly for Choriza because you've been part of this, but everyone, I would love to hear your takes on it. I really loved seeing you on Drag Race España. I know we talked about it a little bit before, but it was so much fun to see you on there. It was so much fun to see Alexis on there. She's one of my favorite people in the world. You were also so fun together on Fashion Photo Review. I have to shout that out. It was awesome. But with all these new franchises, like there have been more and more queens that are getting to guest judge, even host other franchises. And I guess I'm just really curious, like your take on just the expansion of Drag Race as a whole and the opportunities for queens who have been on the show, but also just like what it's doing for the market and for drag in general.
Well, you realize it's actually changing when they are bringing queens back because there's so many seasons, there's been so many guest judges, but no one is ever going to judge drag as good as a drag performer. You know what I mean? We know what it is to be in drag. In fact, the queen team last week, we were all talking to them, and one of them, Wendy, was like, it's taken me to be in drag to realize what you go through, because they force feed us when we are there, because we are doing makeup. It's like, after that, I'm not going to do that again. And there were so many things the queen team learned. So for us, knowing what it is to be in drag, what it is to dance and sing and do all this, it's so important because we have a very insightful take on what it is. And for a queen that's been on the show already, because Drag Race España has had guest judges who are drag queens but have not been on the show. They're just drag icons in Spain. But for someone who has been on the show, has that level of empathy, like I know what you're going through, I know how you're feeling. And I think that's very important to when you're gonna judge someone. Like we're here only, like it's fun and games, we read each other, it's drag, but it's very meaningful for the queens, the critiques you give them when you're on the show. So that for me was the biggest responsibility. I wanted everyone to take something positive from it.
Well put. Scarlett.
I actually think that with the expansion of Drag Race, as you said, it's crazy because I remember my introduction to Drag Race was season 4 of the American season. I am that old when that was airing. I remember watching that, and I was in college and all of that, and it was extremely eye-opening. And I remember thinking, like, as being a fan of it before I really became an established drag queen, thinking like, oh my God, I wish that they would like make a British one, and then they did. And then I remember thinking like, I wish that they would like compete the international queens, and then they did that. It's like, and then they have the Drag Race. You know, what's it called? The celebrity one now.
Secret Celebrity Drag Race.
It's like, it's crazy to think that this little show that I remember being like counterculture and just like, it was almost like it took a mockery of like, you know, all of the other shows that are out there, like Top Model and whatnot. For it to actually become so big that it fills that spot, it's extremely bizarre. And then to have been sucked into the machine myself, it's even more crazy because, you know, as a little gay kid, I was watching that being like, wow, this is amazing. And then it became so big that I got sucked in. So, yeah.
Lucky you.
And now I'm horny.
All right, we got another question right back here. What's your name, sweetheart?
My name's Claire. Hey everyone. Given that you've now been on the show and there's so many different franchises, to avoid fatigue and people losing interest, what changes would you make to the show having gone through that experience?
That's a great question. And I think today's episode is proof of what needs to be changed. This maybe there doesn't need to be an acting challenge with the same structure of every acting challenge there's been. Maybe we need to introduce new challenges. How fresh was the episode on our season, the one where they had to go to a charity shop and pick all the clothes and do all that? And they filmed that in one day, but it was a manic day where they just had to put looks together out of crap that they had. It was not a sewing challenge. And then, I don't know, it's just very fresh. I think they just need to freshen up because they've been trying to do different snatch games with the snatch game of love or whatever. And I don't think that's far enough. I think that we need a little bit of a change in the format, but especially when it comes through the challenges, because we are not gagging for double eliminations, double chances. It used to be so shocking when that happened, and right now it's a little bit overdone, I feel. I'm not bitter about my double elimination at all. So yeah, I think challenges are the core of and what people do in Drag Race. So I think there should be new ones.
I wish they wouldn't like make gaggy decisions in order for people to like go off on Twitter. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I just wish that they'd make decisions based on like what's actually happening and not like, oh well, you know, it just seems like
The produced moments.
Yeah, like if you get rid of this person, then you know people will be like Dakota. They all said it themselves. She should not have gone home. She should not have gone home. But I think that they knew that by sending her home, it would have been like, gag, you know. And then, unfortunately, Pixie gets sent loads of hate because she sent Dakota home, but it's not her fault. She had to do what she had to do. And I understand that because Charity Case was a humongous, fan favorite. And I had to lip sync against her twice. And it looked even worse because she beat me the first time and then I beat her the second time. So, you know, you get put in these predicaments and you can't help but do what you need to do. And then, unfortunately, you know, it becomes a gaggy moment for people to go off. But in reality, it's like, I'm a human being, you know. Don't send me hate just because I did what I was told, you know.
In addition to what these ladies said, I think maybe a break, maybe 2 seasons a year, maybe 1 a year, just so we aren't wore out on it, like you said. But I mean, I love it, but we did get over 100 girls introduced just this year alone, so it is wild.
Listen, y'all not about to be mad about oversaturation of drag queens and the TV.
We're employed.
Okay, thank you. Hi, we have another question right here. What's your name?
Hi, I'm Nathan.
Hey, Nathan.
Okay, so my question is, of the RuPaul girls, like, what are your top 3 aesthetics of the queens of all? Like, based off, like, you could do, like, your drag kind of inspiration. Like, who were the 3 queens' aesthetics that inspired you the most?
I'm dressed as Marge Simpson. No, I'll tell you this. The reason I do drag is because of Sasha Velour's existence. And I'm going to say that plain simple because it really is that. She showed me what... Because I used to enjoy drag from Where You Are, and I loved it. I was the biggest drag fan. And when Sasha was on her season, she made me realize I could make drag whatever I wanted it to be. You know what I mean? Because I thought drag is this and this. And I was like, maybe that's not for me. Maybe I wanted to dress as Marge fucking Simpson. So maybe, for me, not as an inspiration, but visually, but as the persona and how she's created her empire out of her brain and her ideas and her creativity. She's the most. And then I really love Trixie and what she's done as well with her brand. I think she's iconic. And then I love Kimchi as well. She's a Chicago queen, isn't she? We're actually getting to work with her in Canada next week, which is great. And Kimchi as well. I fell in love with her. And then Detox as well. So fucking hell, so many.
You like
anyway,
Chicago
I love
girls.
them all.
Okay.
Yeah. Fucking hell, yeah.
I must say, by the way, she is the most... Like, if anyone was the closest to Trixie Mattel, it would be Choriza. Not aesthetically, Trixie's prettier. But, I'm kidding.
And
But
from
she
far.
genuinely is the most business-savvy person you've ever met. Like, we'll be sitting around at, like, 2 in the afternoon, and she'll be like, oh, we should do this TikTok. Oh, I have a brilliant idea for this post. Or da-da-da. Like, she's the most... like, she never stops with drag, so, like... I see that business savviness. I wish I had a bit of that. I just don't use the TikTok. I'm scared that China is stealing all my data and my dick pics.
It's the dick.
Girl,
You can
everyone
all have
has
them.
your dick pics.
I know.
Airdrop, everyone.
And you get a dick pic, and you get a dick pic. No. So my 3 people, I would say, first one would be Jinx Monsoon, because I think not only aesthetically, I love her style. I love the way she interprets drag, and I love the way she views it through a lens of campness, but also with a perspective that's kind of like old school, and I really enjoy that about drag. I really enjoy it, and that's a very British thing as well, to kind of have an old school aesthetic that's very big, larger than life. I also really enjoy Raja. Aesthetically, she is flawless for me. And my favourite look ever, hands down, landslide, to ever walk on Drag Race of any contestant ever, is Raja on the All Winners season when she did the French Palace of Versailles look with the big coat and the hat, and she did King Louis the 15th. That to me was impeccable. Nothing will top that for me. And then the third person would be Courtney Act, because I think that as well, business savvy wise, she's so intelligent. She's very switched on. She knows what she's talking about. She's extremely well informed. I love that. Her drag aesthetic is great, and you know, she's just gorgeous as well. And she's both gorgeous and extremely intelligent, which I wish I was. But I think you could either have one or the other. I don't know which one I am, but yeah, I'd say them three.
All right, we have another question over here to the right. What's your name?
My name is Jesus.
Hola, Jesus.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Bien, ¿y tú, guapo?
Muy bien, muy linda, ¿eh?
Hi, my name is Jesus. How are you? I'm doing well, thank you.
Sorry, guys. Drag Race España. My question is pretty much for Choriza, but also for Scarlett. I'm from Venezuela, Latin America, for those who don't know. Growing up there and watching RuPaul and RuPaul Drag Race, of course, it has been like a tremendous big opportunity for me as a gay and also queer person. My question is, what would be like the best advice for someone who comes from Spain and immigrants to the UK, and also from someone who is from the UK and also work from someone to Spain? What would be the best advice for people who are there outside to have a better kind of like sense of sympathy with people that is not from the same country?
I think in my case, what happened to me, and I have to talk from my experience, my problem was, it was me who saw myself as an outsider. I saw myself aside from everyone else, you know what I mean? And that, I was like, oh, they won't like me because my English is a bit clumsy. My English, they won't understand me. They have to ask me twice. And there were all these things that made me insecure, that stopped me from talking to people and integrating myself in the community. It was those fears. Once I got rid of them, and for me it happened through drag, I was lucky enough, I just flourished into the drag queen that I am today. So it's just get rid of all the fears, throw yourself into a community that probably is going to embrace you for who you are, and for all these differences that right now are making you insecure. People are going to love you for those. And once you realize that, honestly, the world is yours.
Well said.
Ooh, that was such a great answer. I don't know how to follow that. I would say, just to give you a small answer on that, that growing up in London, I think it's different because it's such a melting pot of talent, and people move to places like London, Chicago, New York, places like this, in order to kind of be a success and to kind of harness their talent. And that I'm very thankful for that, because I get to meet amazing people like Choriza, and work with them. And I just think that, you know, I'm so appreciative of that, because, you know, I could have grew up in like some bumfuck middle of nowhere and been like I am in America right now, so I could have been one of those like people that wear the MAGA hats, you know. And I'm so glad I'm not, even though I'm dressed all in red. So I'm really happy that I get to grow up in such a multicultural place and to experience talent on so many levels. Now, Choriza, when are you going to start? I love you, baby. Am I heavy?
Someone call immigration.
For me, I know, for me.
Do we have any other questions in the audience?
In the back.
We had a couple in the back. All right, here I come.
You know, a fun fact, before Theresa May, I was going to call myself Emma Grant. Get it? But you'd be surprised how many people are actually called Emma Grant. It was obscene. Sorry, no one asked.
That's okay, we understand. What's your name?
Marlon. Right, can I hold it? Yeah. All right, no worries. All right, so it's kind of to Scarlett, but also to everyone that's here. So it's a bit of a two-folded question. I think that part of the acting challenges, it's partly to do with the writing, and I'm wondering, British humour is very particular, very different to perhaps American humor, perhaps Australian humor, Canadian humor. There's a whole different bunch of franchises at the minute. So how much of it might well be that the writing does not help the actors in the moment to actually get the jokes across or to kind of pause in those moments? And the second part of that is, given that there's so many versus the worlds that are happening, at what point is there going to be a convergence of just bland humor? Or do you think that the different regions might actually start to be a bit more understood in terms of how they find comedy?
Okay, you study the
You
show.
know what?
I
Yeah,
love that.
that's right. Wait,
I
before
love
we
that.
think about that 1 second, before we move forward, where are you from?
London.
London.
I was
Okay.
going to ask that.
Yeah.
Where in London are you from?
Don't come for me, but Westminster.
Oh, dear. Oh, he's posh. Oh,
He's
God.
sitting in the back, girl. He's not that posh. Welcome
Can
to
afford the
America,
tickets to the front.
motherfucker. No, I'm just playing. All right, go ahead and answer your question.
So what was the first part? Do you remember the first part of the question? Sorry, because I remember the
humor.
second part.
Do we think
Okay,
the
the
humor's
humor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that in terms of that, I think that it's tricky because British humor is very much. It can be very sarcastic, but also very on the nose. It can be a bit like. They can kind of hit you over the head with it a little bit, and I think that they're playing on that a lot with the acting challenges. And I think that isn't necessarily needed, you know. I think it's easy to say that, oh, because we're drag queens and because, you know, we're on the BBC and, you know, that we now have Drag Race UK. I think they potentially may think that, like, all right, let's overdo it, you know, much better and all that. But you don't, it's not always called for, you know. You don't have to always do that every single time. And but RuPaul says it a lot. RuPaul says it like it's better to go bigger. And he also says like, you know, with his humor, it kind of transcends all of the franchises as well, to the point where, you know, Michelle always says like, what's that joke she always mentions with like, I hardly know her.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, you know, sometimes it's like the humor doesn't always have to be the same. Like, it's just. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
I do.
Sorry, I don't know how to finish that, but yeah, I mean, it comes down to the writing. I think, for example, when they had a Cheddar kind of pretending to suck Pixie's
Scrub brush.
yeah, that. Yeah, thank you for using that word for me. It's like that was a bit on the nose. It's kind of the obvious thing to do, kind of thing, you know. But you know, I'm not slagging anyone off who writes these things. So.
And then with international seasons, where do we lean? Do we lean towards the country, their comedy, what country we're
think so.
in, or should
I
it be
think
like
so.
a mix of just Drag Race humor or all comedy styles?
No, it should definitely reflect the country, because at the end of the day, it's that country that are going to be watching it, and they want to see themselves represented. And also, I always enjoyed the aspect of watching the American version and seeing your guys' humor and also RuPaul's humor, and then as the franchises came about, you see RuPaul's humor reflected in that. But I think the British version, a lot of people do say that it reflects British humor, which is great. Sometimes it is a bit on the nose, as we just saw. But other than that, I enjoy seeing that. Like, I enjoy seeing the franchise's kind of uniqueness. That's what it's about, right? And then with a flavor of, I hardly know her, you know. But I enjoy it. But that's what it's about. Why would you want to see the same kind of thing every time?
Wonderful question, by the way. Thank you.
Okay, we got another one right here.
In terms of answering very quickly, Spain is great for that. They reference our culture and our little things, and I felt it was very good because people in Spain love it, and there's nothing better than learning about a country through the eyes of queer people, and I think that's so interesting. There's this show in Mexico called La Más Draga,
Yes.
and it is iconic. I've learned so much about Mexico just through the interpretation of queer artists. So I think it should focus very much on the culture of each country and the comedy, and then just people internationally get to learn and nourish themselves watching the show as well. So, yeah.
Absolutely. All right, hi, what's your name?
Christian Jolly. From your travels or from your hometowns, what's a queen that we might not know that you think that we should? Someone that hasn't been on Drag Race.
Easy. And she was on that screen today. Wyche Black from Birmingham, and she's a family of.
She does the yearbook review with all you.
She
girls,
does,
right?
yeah. She when they were showing Black Pepper's drag family, there was a picture of her. She's hysterical. She's a beautiful queen, and she started in Birmingham, she's now everywhere. And then there's another Birmingham king called Blue, who you also need to check. Both of them are my top choices at the moment.
And I have a best friend. I know she's probably watching this. A drag queen named Lord, and I think she's fabulous. Also because she's a drama magnet, and if she got on Drag Race, my God, it would be off. She'd be reading these bitches to filth, and I love that because she's not afraid. I love a drag queen who's not afraid to speak their opinion. And on reality TV, it can be difficult to be like, oh no, what are people going to think about me? And I think if she got on Drag Race, it would be like, she'd be reading you into the ground, into the cement, as they say.
Cement.
Okay, word.
Well, we would love to see Caramel DeVille from America on the next season of Drag Race. Would we not? Yes. So send in your fucking video.
Party.
Do we have any other questions? Don't all jump at once. Hey. Hi, what's your name?
Hi, I'm James.
Awesome. Go ahead and answer your question.
So let's suspend reality for a second and say that after maybe 2 more seasons, RuPaul is no longer the host. Who would you say should continue being the host of the show?
The Vivian.
Ooh, that was quick.
Of UK or all the franchises?
Just UK.
Okay.
Oh, did you mean UK? Yeah,
Just
right.
in her absence. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and for America, Monet Exchange, I think. But if you ask me, yeah.
And Australia, Courtney.
Yeah.
I mean, she said on her season she is the RuPaul of Australia.
Yeah. And she's actually, like, she's one of the only drag queens that has actually hosted something properly, officially. Like, she's actually been there and done it. As for the UK one, I don't really know.
The Vivian, 100%. I think, after she did the international season as well, I think she has, I don't know, I think she has that status. I would see her, and she has such a presence and such a kind heart as well. And she's been around the drag scene for years.
Yeah.
Like, I think she would kill it.
I think that's fair. I think it should be one of the winners who's considered a GOAT, whether it be Bob, Bianca,
Yeah,
Alaska.
I want a bitch. I
One of
want
the-
a winner who is going to give you the
Yeah.
full fucking tea, bitch. And be like, sorry, this is shit.
Yeah.
Try again. You're up for elimination. No ifs, ands, or buts.
No double saves.
Yeah.
Go home.
Bianca would be
Yes.
sickening.
Yeah, I agree. Bianca or Bob, for me, like, they're two of the queens that I think of, like, they have it all. You know what I mean? There's nothing they're not good at. So I think they could do the American
Isn't
one
that
easy.
weird how collectively I think anyone who is a fan of Drag Race, those ones are usually at the top tier of what they think of like the drag artist you want to be is.
It's because of how they have branded themselves after they've won. They went out and they took the time to meet and work on their craft and have different jokes. And, you know, they keep being forward. And I think, you know, you don't have to win to be successful, as we know in this, you know, in this situation and most situations of girls that come here. But
winning
also,
for them added to the success.
Winning and then the success, I mean, that's what kind of sets that apart for me.
And they both
Totally.
know their USP to a T.
Oh, yeah, what is USP? That came up earlier.
Unique selling point.
That's
Okay,
it.
work.
Oh.
I was the same girl, don't worry. I was like, what the fuck is that? A USB?
Yeah, it was like a USB. That's what I thought. I thought it came up wrong on the closed caption. All right, do we have any other questions? Anybody else? No? All right. Well, make sure you guys stick around. We're going to be here starting at 10:30, our fabulous show, with these two beautiful creatures, along with Caramel and myself.
And Batty, yes,
Absolutely.
yes. Don't forget, next week, our special guests are Blue Hydrangea and Aquaria.
Yes.
The tickets are on sale now, so get those. And we have merch available once again at roscoes.com, drag queen merch, and this link right there. Boom,
Also,
boom, boom,
you
boom,
can
boom.
get my merch. My
Hey,
merch is
talk
now
about
live
it. Yes!
on dragqueenmerch.com. So if you want a Batty Davis sweater or like whatever, like get one. Because a couple of you guys have got them. So thank you so much and whatnot. And yeah, I can't wait to see them. Anyway, make some noise for Choriza May!
And the stunning Scarlett Harlett.
Don't forget, we're here each and every Friday night. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Batty Davis.
I'm Caramel DeVille. Naysha will be back next week.
Yes, she will.
Bye, YouTube.
Bye-bye.